soften these up to the whip. And let's give it a try. Alright, what do we got? We got some white mushrooms, some onions, green peppers. Just sauteing them down. And we'll add some spices. Alright, sauteing and getting these vegetables soft. And add in some thyme. Good thing about herbs, you can add as much as you want. Alright, I'm going to add this seasoning because it kind of has everything. It has some roasted garlic. What do we say? Roasted garlic, some Himalayan sea salt, and some, well, just sea salt and some rosemary. And it does have, you know, so it has salt in it. So we'll add some of that. Not a whole lot. Because my mother's hair, she has hypertension, so I'm trying to keep that down. And then some oregano. Again, like I said, you can add as much herbs as you like. Any other herbs you want, you can add. Those are the ones that I'm just choosing to add right now. All right, so I'm just letting these cook down till they get soft, because it's nothing like biting into some hard vegetables. I'm gonna turn the stove down a little bit so they're getting soft. And what I mean by soft, I wait until the onions, especially, the peppers will get a little darker, and the onions will actually get like transparent. That's the only word I can use for that. Mushrooms aren't really, by the time everything else cooks down, they're already soft, so it'll be a little softer. So, all right. Okay, so as you can see, I just added, it's frozen, some ground turkey, right? I know you're probably thinking, oh my God, it's frozen. It'll take all day to thaw out. It's actually not. So what I'm doing, this is just what I do. You guys do what you want. I'm literally putting the hot vegetables over top of the frozen block of turkey. Okay? Right? Just put it over top. This does two things. The heat from it helps to thaw at the top of the turkey. And the other thing is it stops the vegetables from overcooking on the bottom, right? So just put that on there like that. The next thing I'm going to do, if I can find it. That's me. So I'm going to put a lid on it. So the lid, this is a glass top, but as you can see it has metal, so it's not going to break. So the lid actually traps the steam in, which also helps it defrost, right? So I'm gonna let that sit like that for, I don't know, give it about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna flip it, scrape it down, which is the stuff that's thawing out. Scrape it down, put the lid back over it. It takes a little bit of time, but it helps you defrost your meat without having to wait hours and hours for it to thaw out. Okay. Okay, so that was a little longer than 5 minutes. All right, you see how see? I'm scraping it. You see? Scrape the sides. Scrape it down, scrape it down. And you want to flip it. See how it browns on the sides? Just flip, scrape it down, scrape it down, scrape it down. Oh, anyway. You just follow the same process. I don't know if you want to do 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's up to you. But you don't want to have the eye up really high. So I only have it on like a 3, right? You definitely don't want to do that because you don't want it to burn on the back. That's all. Put the lid back on it. 5 more minutes. Okay, maybe 10. Okay, so as you can see, we're getting down to very, very little. We're just going to keep repeating this process, right? I'm not going to record every time I flip it, but anyway, we're going to keep doing the process. And as you can see, when you scrape it off, it comes off in like long pieces, right? So it comes off in long pieces like this. So you could just take your fork and, you know, break it up if you like. But I have a secret weapon, right? I'm a big Pampered Chef person. I love Pampered Chef. I love their stuff. So let me show you what I use. Once everything is, you know, I done shaved it down and all that. Let me show you what I use. This handy dandy. This right here. It's supposed to be a salad chopper. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure. I've had this for years. But what I do is I go in and I literally just chop the meat up. That way, it cuts down on time. You know? I just cut it up. And also, you know, if you got, it'll cut up whatever you use. It'll cut it up, chop it up. It ain't gonna chop that whole thing up, right? So this will just scrape it down, scrape it down. But like I said, I cut it up with this. This is just really quick for me to use. That's what I do. So anyway, we're gonna let this cook for a little while longer to get the last bit cooked up, and then we'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, it's all brown, right? Two things I just want to add. I'm using ground turkey. So ground turkey, as you can see, really does not emit oil, a lot of oil at all, right? I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, it doesn't emit a lot of oil. But if you're using ground beef and it's you know, not a lean ground beef, and even if it is and it has too much oil, but at this stage, what I would do is I would drain the oil off, because you don't want a bunch of oil sitting on top of your spaghetti sauce. It's kind of gross. Anyway, the other thing is, the reason why I added the spice that I added that had the salt in it, because I didn't want to add a lot of salt at this stage, because you got to remember, you're going to be adding diced tomatoes, you're going to be adding tomato spaghetti sauce, and a lot of times that has a lot of sodium in it. So you want to add those things, taste it, right? You want to taste your food while you're cooking it, taste it, and then that way you can gauge if you in fact do need more salt, or if it's okay as is. But you do want to add some seasoning to the meat mixture, right? But you don't want to go overboard with the salt, especially if you're hypertensive. So you might want to be mindful of that. And you could do this if you want. You don't have to. Sometimes you can drain the oil into your water that you're boiling for your spaghetti. I know that may sound crazy, but what the oil does, and I'm going to show you. So I have a pot over here, right? That's getting ready to boil. You see those little, looks like little bubbles looking, whatever, transparent looking things. Anyway, so that's oil droplets, right? So I added, can you see? Can y'all see? I can't tell if y'all can see or not. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not. But anyway, so that's what that is. And the reason why you add the oil to the water, so when you put your pasta in, your pasta does not stick together. It's a little trick for you. It just doesn't stick together. Some of y'all probably already knew that, but if you didn't, there you go. It's freebie. Okay, so I'm going to add some diced tomatoes. You can dice them up if you want, or you can use a can. Yep, see the lovely old can. I get the one that has no salt added. Again, I try to watch my blood pressure. My mother's hypertensive, so I try to not use additional salt if I don't have to. So these are diced tomatoes. You can drain the juice off of them, pour them in, or I'm just going to pour the can in. And the reason why you don't add your tomatoes, the reason why I don't, I'm going to say, I won't say because some people do, add your tomatoes when the meat is still raw. Because how are you going to tell if the meat's actually cooked or if that's just the color from the tomatoes? See what I'm saying? Right, and then you'd be looking crazy eating raw meat with some, okay, that's really gross. But anyway, so as you can see, I added the diced tomatoes. I only used one can. You can use 2 cans if you want. If you want more, that's fine. It's really a preference. The goal is to make sure your stuff is cooked. Now, you can add takeaway, whatever. Now, I love Prego. I like ragu. So today we're using ragu. And I always try to get the spaghetti sauce that has other stuff in it. Like this one, for example, has tomato, garlic, onion, and onions, right? It's a chunky version, which I really like. I've already added onion. I've added pepper. I've added some garlic. I forgot to mention some diced tomatoes. So then I'm going to add the tomato sauce. You can add as much or as little as you like. All right, so there's still about that much left. So I'm not gonna add the whole thing. All right, and just mix it through. Mix it through, mix it. Oh, anyway, mix it through. Got it mixed really good. Now, this is where you need to taste your food. Don't wait till it's completely done to taste your food. Then you want to throw a bunch of salt on it. That salt's literally sitting on top of your food. It's a little, you know. This way, once you taste your food, and if you need to add more salt, add more seasoning, like herbs, you can do that at this stage. And it's still simmering, so it's still cooking. It'll still add the flavor throughout the food, right? All right, so we're gonna taste it and see what we need. It tastes pretty good to me. Okay, we are not going to use the same fork. See, this is the fork. This is a new fork. Don't be double dipping, okay? I know you're cooking for your family, but don't be double dipping. All right. That tastes pretty good to me. All right. But actually, what I'm going to do, I am going to add a little bit more, some more herbs. I'm going to add some more thyme. Oh, I know I was just shaking away, right? I'm going to add some more oregano. Let's see. I don't know if I want to order. Let me see. All right, and I'm going to add some parsley. Oh, this is parsley. Don't want to act right. Let's see. All right, I'm going to add some parsley. Mix that in. And again, add more if you want, you know, but you got to taste your food before it's done. All right. All right, so we have our lovely tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, sorry. And we're going to put the lid back on it. And we're going to turn it down and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Our pasta water is ready. And what I do, this is just me, I will add, sometimes I'll add some herbs in the water, just to give us that extra seasoning. You don't have to, you can if you want, but I normally do, so. All right, I am back. All right, as you can see, the water's boiling. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley to the water. Let's see, get this open. On that side. Wrong side, sorry. Shake. Okay. It's weird because when the steam hits it hits the open, it makes it stick a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of this. The same seasoning I used in the spaghetti. So it's the roasted garlic, rosemary, and sea salt. Literally just a sprinkle, not even a sprinkle, full sprinkle. See, there we go. That's it. Because even though it doesn't have as much salt as plain salt, has sodium. So, and I'm using this thin spaghetti. As you can see, I'm not real partial to brands. This one says Food Lion. Lovely Food Lion. Thin spaghetti. Use regular spaghetti if you want. I like thin spaghetti more so than the other one. So, all right. What I do, I mean, you take spaghetti out how you need to. I take it out like this. See? One hand grip and with a few stragglers. I place it in the water and then I just let it fan out. Let it fan out. And as it gets softer, I just push it down. Push it down. Right? But you got to keep an eye on it because you don't want the eye to be, because sometimes if the pot is smaller than the eye that you have it on, it can burn these, right? It can burn them. Let me get this pot out of the way because I had some, I was doing some stuff with that pot, but anyway. All right, there we go. Okay. So as you can see, as the pasta gets soft on the other end, and that's in the water, I push this down. So eventually it'll all go in there. So let that cook down. You can move around with your fork if you like, but you don't have to. Some people break their pasta in half and then put it in the water. You can do that too. You know, that's actually a really good technique when you have little kids. You know, because you don't want them like, oops. You don't want them twirling for days. Take these couple ones that kind of did their own thing. So we're gonna let that boil down. And we have the spaghetti over here. I don't know if you can see it, but we got the spaghetti over here. I don't know if you can see it. Spaghetti's over here. It's simmering. So we're gonna let that simmer. It's gonna let it do what it does. Okay. Okay. So let that. It should. I don't know. Give it another 5 minutes or so. You know. But like I said, be mindful. Just keep pushing it down because it doesn't take long for pasta to get done. So you just want to keep pushing it. This edges, just the ends. You're like pushing it, the ends in. Okay? Okay. So the pasta's almost done. One thing that you don't want to, it's not quite done yet because it's still kind of hard. But one of the things that you do want to make sure is that the pasta is not mushy, right? You don't want to boil it until it's like soft that you can mush it. So what I normally do is I do a pinch test. Like when I let it boil for a little bit, as you can see, nothing's sticking together because I have the oil in there. And as the pasta, I was pushing it down, I did take my fork and just kind of, you know, stir it around a little bit to help make sure make sure the oil gets distributed equally throughout the pasta. So as you can see, it's not sticking together at all. So we're gonna let it cook, let it boil a little bit more. It's still a little too al dente. So we're gonna let it boil a little bit more, and then we'll do the pinch test, and we'll be good. All right, people. I believe the pasta is just about done. Lovely pasta. See, I'm just gonna pinch it. And it broke up. It's not smushable, but it broke up. So anyway. So the pasta is done, as you can see. No clumps, no sticking, none of that foolishness. All right, so I just rinsed the pasta. Well, drained the pasta, I'm sorry. So the other thing that I do sometimes, some people do it, some people don't. When I drain my pasta, I will normally run hot water through it one good time, or cold water even, to get the excess starch off of it. And if I use the cold water method, I'll rinse it really good with cold water, then I'll literally go right behind it and rinse it with hot water. Don't worry, your pasta is not going to be cold. It's not going to be cold. It's not going to be cold. I know that's what it sounds like, but it's not going to be cold. Yeah, so we're done. We're going to plate it, and I'm going to eat it. And I'm going to get my mom some to make sure she eats. So